another flyby of another map for a map knowledge video. We are on jungle. Currently we are moving down the south side of the map. As you can see, you got the dragon's teeth that are right there that lead you up into that sniper position that looks across all the way over to the alpha capture point, and you can see a little bit of the sniper hill on the other side. As we slowly round the bend here where the four corners are, you have the southeast spawn point. So this is the eastern edge of the map now. There's the spawn point, and it goes down through these palm groves here. Bunch of winding trails and whatnot, undulating hills. Nice little spots where you can park your butt and stay safe. And then we move around to the north side of the map. We just passed over the spawn point that is closest to the Charlie capture point, which is right there. And then you have the Rock Island and the whole beachfront property looking. And there's the Bravo capture point. As we move around to the west side of the map now, and this will be the northwest spawn location right here. And we'll go ahead and zoom on in and we'll check out each capture point. So the first on the deck is the Bravo capture point. This is of course the one that's the easiest for the west side to get to. You can see there's some areas to hide, and here is the Charlie capture point. Again, it's surrounded by rocks. It has a pillbox by it, and there's a bunch of areas to hide and keep yourself secure and shoot from. And then we'll go ahead and move on over to the most iconic of this map, and that is the Alpha capture point with the tower on it. And this folks is where all hell breaks loose on this map. If you want to fight, you fight here. Alright, now that our flyby of old jungle is over with, we'll go ahead and start getting down into the meat and potatoes. I'll give you a quick overview of what I'm going to do. So we'll start out on the east side of the map. We're going to go and check the travel paths that people like to take from the spawn. So you have the northwest spawn and then the southwest spawn. And then you have on the other side, once we're done checking everything on this side, points of interest, then we'll move over to the east side and check the north spawn and the southeast spawn, and we'll go dive down into the map on locations that are very important for you guys to be paying attention to while playing a match on jungle. Alright, so we'll start over here, west side or the northwest spawn point. It's back here in kind of this defilade. There's a bunch of like palm groves and all this stuff that runs through here. But anyways, you guys already know that, right? Everyone makes a beeline usually straight to the Bravo capture point, and then they make their movement on over through here. Wow, that was sloppy, or whatever. And then you have another travel path out of the northwest spawn, which comes down this way and up here and brings you up to this hilltop right here. We'll go ahead and jump down into the map because this is right here. This location is extremely important. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys some little cheeky spots that you can get back in here and actually get eyes on targets that are on this corner right here. Alright, let's go ahead and jump down into the map. Alright, as I pointed out before, it has defilade, has some rock coverage that covers you as you're coming out of your spawn. A lot of players, they come down this road that's right here on the left hand side of the screen and pull right up into Bravo, and then they pull down into these rocks right here. And as you can see, what do you have right here? You have the Charlie capture point. And that's for that's where you're going to have a large enemy presence. And then where you can really start getting some good shots on target is you come down to these rocks here and you can see this the bank side, or where the sand ends right up there. There's like some defilade where players like to sit right here, but I'll show you that once we get to the other side. But yeah, this is a fairly heavily used spot. A lot of people go up onto this hilltop here too. So this is another one of those spots. You get in here, and if you use it correctly, you pop out through here. You have eyes on all of their coverage points that are pretty much right there, and they come out of their spawn pretty much in that back area. So if you use this area correctly, you could do decent, but I don't suggest really using that. Alright, so we're going to kind of do this in steps for this, because this is really kind of important. But remember how I said you got the players that come down this way? I'm going to show you a location right here that you're going to want to stop in here for a little bit, okay, before you pull up onto this very advantageous hilltop position, because you have shots that cover them as they cross this open water area right here. Alright, so this is going to be in steps. I'm going to show you here, and then I'll show you what's up here. Alright, so this is generally the travel path you'll take as you come out of your spawn. You'll pull down this road that's right here on the right hand side of the screen, or you could just go through these little palm groves, these baby ferns and all that other stuff. And then you can come around here, get down in the water here, and then skirt this rock. But as you can see, when you get to this location right here, you have good eyes on all the way across, and I suggest making a stop right about in this location, right about here, because you will have eyes on the enemy that are trying to cross this open area, this open water, and they do like to come down to this the rocks that you see on the left hand side, not the closest one but the furthest one out. You'll see they like to use that area as cover, but you can generally catch the lag, or the players that lag behind before they get to the rocks. You're gonna have a few of them that are already there, but you can catch the laggers. Alright, let's go ahead and go back to the map. Okay, now that you've seen that location there, I'm going to show you this location. So once you're done scouting this area out, you'll pull up here, and I'll show you the position you want to take up to start out here. And we could cover this whole hilltop, but I'll cover a couple positions up here that will be very advantageous for you. And if you hold this position, you pretty much have map superiority. Alright, so when you get up to this position here, you're going to have eyes on, well, more than that actually. You'll see. Alright, remember what I said? Now that you're done scouting out this location, you're going to focus your attention to get up this hill. There's a couple of locations that you you can pull up to. You have a path that runs this way, which gives you really good cover, but you're going to want to pull into this little saddle right here. And if you have the gun depression to deal with it, if not, I mean, it's a nice flat area. Your turret's going to be exposed. A lot of people do pay attention to this location, but before you actually peek out, use your camera, use your third-person camera, and make sure no one's really looking at you from here. But as you can see, if you play this area correctly, you can move back and forth, left and right, and have shots on the enemy that want to try and cross this open area, and it leaves that rock position for the most part completely exposed. Now they can use the backside of the terrain that's furthest out from you. That's actually defilade back there. It goes down onto the to the bank. There's a whole sandbar that's on the other side of those palm groves back there, but that's all defilade. They can utilize that to skirt around you there. So if just remember that if you're on the opposite side, you can use that entire side for the most part and be fairly safe until you get to that location there. But as you can see, once you start pushing out too far, you're going to wind up exposing yourself a little bit too much to the enemy, and you will more than likely get killed in this location if you sit here for too long. But as you can see, you have eyes on that whole entire defensive embankment. and that's where the enemy really likes to hang out. You'll catch a bunch of them sitting there. And then for the final position, I'm going to show you guys up. Well, I'll show you two more positions up here. We'll show you the position by the pillbox, and then we'll show you the position that's right over here that covers down into alpha. All right, so once you get to the pillbox, you'll have even more advantageous shots, plus a little bit extra cover from enemy movement, or from the enemy's eyes. Okay, so once you're done, like I said, once you're done with this location here, don't sit in there too long. You have the pillbox position, which gives you a lot more cover, but it exposes you greatly to enemy fire when you need to take a shot. You need to prep your shot before you go. But as you can see, you come here and you have shots that lead down into there. If you push out a little bit further, you have shots that lean out all the way across that defensive embankment. And you can even angle yourself out in this direction and look down onto the Charlie cap. And we can go ahead and look from over here as well. As you can see, your whole side is going to be completely covered from that defensive embankment, and you have shots that completely nullify that rock formation there where they like to sit behind. You do have a little bit of defilade that's down in the sand dunes here where the water is, but generally any enemy that's in this location, once you get up here, is going to be totally screwed, and you're going to have a hell of a game. And we'll go ahead and turn the camera around real quick. So once you're done with that pillbox position, you pull up to this little defilade location here, and you can kind of eke out this way, and you have shots into the alpha cap point. That's going to be a highly contested location, so you're going to want to focus your attention in that direction. There are areas that the enemy can snipe you from that's even further out, so you need to be mindful of that ridge line that's in the far background, because enemies can pull up on there and they can snipe you from that location as well. There's a lot of advantages to this hilltop, but there's a lot of downsides to it as well. Alright, so that's the northwest spawn routes covered. So you have the travel path there, the travel path there, and then of course to the advantageous hilltop location, and then of course you have your little locations back here and the hilltop that sits, the hilltop that sits right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the south western spawn. It's pretty much, you have the road that travels down this way. A lot of people go down, well, not a lot, but as you can tell, they come down this way. There is a way to travel up this way and get into the sniper position, or get into a position to where you can cover the enemy that want to snipe across into alpha here. And we'll go ahead and jump into the map and show you that. Alright, so here's the southwest spawn location. Usually when you spawn in, you'll be facing this little hill that's right here in the center of the screen. If you want to go off to the right, you'll take this road that travels here. It kind of zigzags through the mountains here. But to get to that sniper position that I was talking about, you'll pull down up over the top of this. You're going to be exposed a little bit, so you got to be careful. You can try and push back this way if you want, but you're going to come up over top of the ridge line, go back behind these dragon's teeth, pull up right in this location right here, because that's where the saddle is. That's easier to get up, and then voila, you are back into the location where you can contest the snipers that pull in here. You could travel along this whole backside here. Once you get down into here, you're going to be in the out of bounds zone. It'll start flashing, return to battlefield, but you could still travel it all the way out past this rock here. And it definitely, if you get to this location here, you could shoot across into there. But as you can see on this entire ridge line, if you let the enemy contain or hold this location, they're going to shred your entire flank, and more than likely you will lose this match if you let anyone sit up here for too long. Alright, and then the typical other positions that people take up at the start of the match. You got this rock outcropping that's right here that gives you pretty good shots all the way out across down into this defilade in here as well. Anyone trying to cross these bridges. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at that right now. And this is the movement path coming out of the spawn. All you do is just pull up to these rock outcrops here. And you have shots that lead down into the little defilade or into the enemy that want to try and push up that side. And if you push out further to this rock outcropping here, you could fire through this little location here. Anyone that's coming up over the top over there, a lot of guys like to use that area as a way to move into the position and to cover alpha. They're just general sniping locations for the start of the match. Nothing fancy, just general sniping locations. Alright then, and then the final travel path for this side, which leads straight into the alpha cap, which is going to be highly contested. These pictures that I took are 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the match. 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and this place is always a massive friggin' kerfuffle. It's a big giant catastrophe. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of this stuff real quick, and I'll go ahead and show you guys how you can make this giant shit sandwich into a very productive moment for you. It's actually a position that's right over here on this side. It doesn't look like much, but you can hide an awful lot of tank right in here. So we'll go ahead and jump down in the map and show you that. Alright, so you got to be careful as you're pulling in here. The position that you're going to take up is you're going to come up here, you're going to engage whatever the heck is sitting up on the cap point. Knock them out as fast as you can. And then you'll take a hard right here and you'll pull into this location right in here. And this spot, if you get in here, will keep you completely covered from anyone that's coming up the backside here, but you can kind of nudge out a little bit and pop them as they pull up over the ridge, because they will be at a significant disadvantage as they're coming up over the ridge here. And once you secure this location, again, this is a place that you do not sit in for too long. You use it. It doesn't look like much, right? You just use it to cover your position until you can get the area around alpha completely secure. If you want to have a big fight, this is where you go. You come to the alpha cap point, and it could be good for you, or it could be really, really bad for you, depending on how it goes. But this is the spot right here. And I'll go ahead and back out to show you guys. You pull in from the left-hand side of the screen, come around in front of the tower there, and then pull into this defilade location, which will make it easy for you to cap, as long as there's no one sitting over here. But yeah, it's a good spot. I've used it plenty of times. Alright, that'll pretty much cover the basics for the west side. Now we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the east side of the map. I'm going to only highlight a few things that you can do from this side of the map. There's so much that I could talk about on here that this would be like a 2-hour long freaking video, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. So anyways, you got the main travel path that comes out through here to the bridge. Some players tend to take the bridge, but most of the time you'll see them come down into this little valley right here and pull into the cap point from there. As you can see with the heat map, a lot of players come down across this little valley instead of using the bridge, which is honestly a smart thing to do. And then you have the sniper position that you cut across all of these hills here, and you work your way around to the rock outcropping that I showed you prior before. And I'll go ahead and jump into the map, and I'll show you this one first, and then I'll show you this one next. Alright, so this is the southeast location, spawn location. What you'll do is as soon as you spawn in, you'll come down this road here, or you can cut across these mountains. I do suggest cutting across the mountains or the hills. And then you'll come into this location here, and you'll just pop right up over this little ridge right here, and down and over, and then voila, you are now on a sniper flank. You can pull up onto this location here and snipe anyone that's trying to move down the road, or get up onto that location that's up there. Then you can move across over to these rocks here. It's just like I showed you from the other side. You got to be careful of anyone that's wanting to come in here and contest you. But once you get to this rock here, that's pretty much going to be your stopping point for the most part. And you have shots. As you can see my location that I showed you prior that I like to use. It's completely exposed to this spot here. And the bridge is completely freaking exposed. The whole waterway where people like to use to cross to get into the defilade that's over there is completely exposed. This is a very advantageous position to take if you spawn on the east side of the map. So just remember that. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys the spot right here where you pull in and you are completely covered. Instead of using this bridge, do not use this bridge. Just don't do it. It's a death sentence for the most part. People like to come into this location here to try and provide cover in here. But again, don't do it. Move down in here. I'll show you on the... Alright, so this is coming out of the southeast spawn. You're going to come down here, hit this road here, and then you'll just travel across this valley right here. And a lot of players like to come up to the back side of this hill here. I mean, it's okay to do that depending on how heavy it gets. But you can also pull out here to the right and catch anyone that's trying to run across these complete defilade area. This is a good spot to travel through to make sure you stay safe. But you come around here, it's a little easier to travel up this way. But remember what I showed you from the hill? That hill is already going to be contested at 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the match. And you're completely exposed to that position that's right there where I showed you before. Like I said, I could be talking about this map for hours on end, and still wouldn't get anywhere. So these are just highlighted points for you to keep your mind, or keep your mind on the locations that I showed you prior. And we'll go ahead and talk about the big clusterfuck that happens when you get up over here. This is the northeastern spawn location. You have players that'll run up through here to grab the Charlie capture point, which is right there. And pretty much everyone pulls up to this defensive embankment that I called it before, and tries to nab anyone crossing this open area. This is pretty much no man's land. You don't want to try and travel into that location if you're on the west side, because this entire area is going to be covered by sniper fire, as I'll show you right now. Alright, so this is the northeastern spawn point. You'll come out, follow these roads, and then branch off. You can go down into the water that's here and pull up into these really, really good locations, because you have shots that you'll catch people on that back ridge line. We'll show you, zoom in on it. You'll catch people that pop up by that pillbox over there. They'll roll out from the rock that's in the far back there. You'll see the hill that runs down just by the palm tree that's in the middle of the screen. They'll come out there as well. This entire area, you're going to have to pretty much just scout it out yourself when you get to it. But yeah, this entire ridge line, that's what I call it, the defensive embankment, is a very good spot, but it's also well known and people always keep their eyes on it. You can get into these rocks over here as well that provide a lot more cover, but the usual capture point or the usual movement is to come into the capture point, stay behind the pillbox or the rocks that are there in front, and shoot anyone that's trying to come down here. But as you can see, remember where those rock positions that I showed you, those are fairly well covered, and you can get into the saddle that's right back here. They'll pull up. You see the rock that's in the middle of the saddle there, in the middle of the screen in the foreground. We'll zoom in on it. You can usually get a turret shot from this location, but you gotta keep your head on a swivel. You got that whole rock island area there. I mean, there's just so much to go over, so much. And then the last thing I'll show is the travel path that you could take this way. As you can see, these guys use that right there. It gives you pretty good shots all the way out and across to stop any of the enemy trying to get a flank and get into Charlie. Alright, so coming out of your spawn over here, you can see these tracks that come out this way, and you get down onto the beach here, and you are completely covered on this entire movement until you get into this position here. Even then, it's very minimal. You can even fire from this location right here, stopping anyone that's coming across the backside of the hill there. And right over there by that pillbox is the actual Bravo capture point. And then you can get up behind this rock here, even further out here, and stop anyone that's trying to cross this little flanking location. You'll also catch enemy sometimes in that back area there where those tank traps are. But yeah, this is the spot you go to stop anyone from contesting your Charlie capture point right here. Alright folks, that should about do it for Jungle. I hope these videos are helping you guys out, helping anyone out. Just remember that these pictures that I took of this map were at 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the match, and I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but contact usually starts at around 2 minutes and 30 seconds because of this area here, this highly contested area here. Points of interest for you guys to remember, if you're spawning on the west side of the map, the hill is going to be your go-to location. If you hold this, if you play this correctly, you will have definitely map superiority, and you will be a huge factor in the game. And then you have the flanking route that comes out over here. Both sides, it's fairly balanced. As long as you play it correctly, one side or the other is going to win. And if you do, you can contest the Bravo or Charlie capture point, whatever side you're playing on. And then of course you have the sniper location that's on this side of the map, and from this side it's extremely advantageous to get in, and if you're spawning on the western side, it's extremely advantageous for you to get in here and stop anyone from doing too much damage. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one. Laters.